films, and I loved film scoring. So suddenly I had a chance to kind of dabble in this, and I wanted to do more, but I was in a band and touring and doing albums.
I used to go see his band before I was doing movies and clubs, and just always felt like his music was very filmic.
So after Beetlejuice, I got a call from Tim saying, I'm doing this thing, you might be interested in it. And he sent me the Dark Knight comics. That was much more up my alley than what I had known of the original Batman comics as a kid. And then there was a point where they went into production, and I flew out to London and went out in the set.
The very first film he did, Pee-wee's Big Adventure, came out of the blue, kind of. He was looking for a low profile, and this one was like a little higher profile than he wanted. And he took me along as a safety net.
I really got my initial ideas from walking around at night on the set of Gotham. With the Batman theme, I just looked for something that had the components that could be mysterious, that can be dark, that could also get fun, and can also have a driving heroism too, always keeping that dark side to it.
He did come up with a good one. You know, that's hard to do, to come up with what the Batman character is, kind of dark but adventure and moving and operatic, all those things at once.
I wasn't trying to come up with something that people would remember so much as something that fit the footage. You know, I always just think of what plays this footage, and I needed something heroic and simple. And in that simplicity, you have building blocks, and you can use different building blocks and expand on them. So I wasn't necessarily consciously blocking it out that way, but my instincts were old-fashioned instincts in that regard. Especially any film of this genre, you're going to have different places to go with your heroes and with your villains.
The pen is truly mightier than the sword.
Joker was really fun, but there wasn't as much to grab onto because he wasn't scored as heavily. There actually isn't a lot of music under the Joker.
Honey, you'll never believe what happened to me today.
Oh.
This really fun waltz that I got to write for him during this crazy sequence, that was really fun. Why his kind of weird, twisted waltz? I don't know. I mean, I always love writing the villain's music.
In that moment, you know, that kind of foolishness, now I've shot him, I think I'll shoot him again. I think I'll do it. You know, I mean, I'll always love that moment in that picture. What a day.
The Joker was just fun. Most of the work of Batman was, you know, establishing the tone of the movie and Gotham and everything else.
Let's go.
Shields.
I did what I always do with Danny. I was his orchestrator and responsible for making sure what he thought he was writing was what we got out of the orchestra. Part of Danny's process, to me, is never done until we've recorded and put it in.
My most fun moment actually was recording it and actually hearing the music coming together in the studio. And then there was a point where John Peters started like picking up his cell phone, turning it on, holding it up to the speakers, and he'd be having people back home in LA say, check this out, listen to this. I remember him coming up and saying, Danny, we're going to do a separate soundtrack album for just the score. I figured this is producer, hot air. And he did. I don't understand what makes Batman popular. I didn't expect Batman to do really well when I was working on it.
My balloons.
These things always surprise me. To me, they're movies, they're fun, they're interesting. But what makes them a cultural phenomenon, I haven't a clue. You know, always in that genre, you get to pack a lot of your best wallop into the last 12, 15 minutes of the movie. So there was a lot of stuff in the end that I was pleased about that, you know, was big and had some grandeur. It was like a level of intensity that I never could have comprehended in my life. And yet, it's been rewarding.